We're going to call this meeting to order, and discussion. First thing on the agenda is to discuss and possible action regarding nominations for chairperson of the street committee.
And I'll make you a motion that you be the chairman. This is how you want to vote.
I suppose, do you want to second that?
Sure, I'll second it.
Pass the guy that's next one comes in, whoever gonna be.
That's right.
Surprise.
Are you ready?
Yes.
Lamar,
Yes.
Smith.
Yes.
Okay, discussion and possible action to approve minutes of the April 23rd, 2024 regular meeting. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second. Any discussion? Call for the vote?
Yes.
Yes. Petitions from the audience? We have none. Street superintendent report, Buddy Glenn.
Well, we don't have I wouldn't say a whole bunch, but we've been trying to work, like last week for Memorial Day, been trying to do a lot of mowing, weed eating, getting kind of beautification things going on. We've got a few places dug out to re-pour back with concrete, but it's rained so much that we haven't been able to, we'll call in, order it, and then we had to call back and cancel because it just, but we still got them going on. But again, like I said, we've been trying to get some of the drainages. I know people are talking about how stuff is growing up, but we just can't get back. I don't want to tear the drainage up or any type of piece of equipment up, getting down and getting it stuck. We have run the sweeper a few times, like I said, especially downtown area right now, getting with little things that was going on, trying to keep it cleaned up.
How's the street sweeper doing since we repaired it?
Oh, it works perfect right now. I mean, it picks up stuff good. So we should have figured that when it was messing up. But again, we've been trying to look to see if we can find some more parts. But right now, there's no place to.
We're kind of down to the last.
Yes, it's down to the
Band-Aid on it.
Yeah. So probably, like I said, for this year, I like to put some money back and just try to run it when we need to, and then this next year, get some prices on it, and maybe go ahead and trade it in while it's still good. I mean, it still works. I mean, there's other than that, but just we just can't find parts for it.
What's the estimated cost of a new one?
Last I looked, for something comparison, that's about $400,000. We paid back when we had it. We paid $125,000. I think is what we paid for it.
Well,
So
that's been a long time.
yeah. So like I said, it's been a good one. Just again, we dug that out there on the southeast first. There on the corner. We done that. But again, we haven't been able to pour that back. There by Carl Jr.'s, somebody stole the metal off of that walkway through there. So I mean, I don't know what that was. So we went back there and we got metal and stuff to put that back down. We anchored it down, so if somebody's gonna steal that, they're gonna have to do some work on it. But other than that, just everything, like I said, we're still kind of mowing, and we had some trees over the weekend. I mean, it's not full trees. It looks like it just maybe some older trees that the wind blew and kind of knocked them over on the street. We pushed them out. Over the weekend, they're back. They started today going around cutting them up and picking them up, and anything that falls in the street, that's usually when we get it. But back in the yards and stuff, and I know I've had several calls asking if we're picking up any type of limbs, and right now we're not. We're just waiting because there really hadn't been a major storm or anything that come through. So we're just kind of holding off to see what that's gonna pertain. Other than that, that's about everything. I mean, that's normal things. I left my thing up at the street building, but that's pretty well what we just been doing. I mean, same old stuff. We done some asphalt repair out there again on Gaither. We had another couple pieces come up, so we went and fixed those. And we got those entrances completed on out there by the cemetery. So when they had the 4th of July, they was trying to just help, hopefully, with the traffic getting in and out. So those are done. And other than that, just same old stuff.
Okay. All right, thank you, buddy. Sealed bids for opening of the mowing of the right-of-way. Mr. Smith?
Move you to where I say.
Okay, we have received 2 bids for the mowing of the right-of-ways, and they were opened by street committee person Smith. And the first one that was open was McWhirt Trucking of Salina. That's MCWHIRT Trucking of Salina. And it's for 6 mows at $6,000 each for a total of $36,000. The next one is for a flat rate of $30,000 from Dwayne Faught, F-O-U-G-H-T, of Pryor. So there's only 2 bids. So next thing is discuss and possibly recommend council action awarding a bid for the mowing of the right-of-way.
So move Lois, going forward.
Okay, we have a motion by Smith and seconded by Lamar to award the job to Dwayne Faught. We recommend that to the council.
All right, Lamar,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Mr. Faught, do you have any questions?
When's the payday?
Oh, you want paid too, are you?
I need 2 weeks vacation put on that. No, I'm good, thank you.
All right, thank you. Okay, discussion regarding new and additional drainage issues throughout the city. The mayor had told me that either you or Buddy had some things you were wanting to talk to us about on some new problems that have come up.
I can go, or I can get Buddy too, whichever. First one we talked about is on South Elliott Street, down there by the elementary school where they put the concrete ditch going north.
Well, hold on just a minute, let me interrupt you a minute. There's an item specifically on the agenda for that one, item number 12, is that the same thing? Regarding estimates for drainage repairs from 12th to 15th Street on Elliott?
I am not aware.
Do you have a copy of this?
I don't.
You can mind.
That's all right.
I'll just take your word for it.
Here, Buddy, I'll let you take over. They have some questions about the drainage.
This is the item on the agenda of new and additional drainage issues throughout the city.
Okay, well, one of the ones I'm looking at is on South Elliott. We've been trying to figure out something there.
Well, let me interrupt you. That's item number 12 on the agenda. So is there other things? On item number 12 on the agenda is drainage repairs on South Elliott from Southeast 12th to Southeast 15th regarding estimates for the repair. That's
Okay,
item number 12.
and it was put on there for Bailey Street,
Okay,
Bailey and Southeast Graham Court. What is happening through there is the water used to go down, there's 2 drop-ins up there, come off of Bailey, going on to Southeast First, or Southeast Graham. And that usually took care of most of the water coming down through there, but what has happened when in the church, you know, when they built the building out through there, that was our drainage. Well, when they built that, it just diverted the water, basically was supposed to go back to the south and come back out to Bailey. I mean, that's the only way it can go right now. But the problem is with the retention pond out there, it produces more water force than what this does, so it drains slower. So all the water from the retention, basically, it's gonna almost empty for this drains down, because it was backed up almost halfway down Southeast Graham Court. So we're gonna have to look at something, but see, there's a utility easement back behind, but there's nothing for drainage back there. I don't know who owns the property, but in order to drain that, I mean, there's a couple, I mean, we were went back there and shot grade, and we was trying to figure, we got like 3 feet of fall from, at the end of Southeast Graham Court to come all the way back to Bailey, so there's plenty of fall, but you're gonna have to have a substantial, little bit, you know, wider ditch, I mean, for that, if it's on an easement, you know, that you can mow it and maintain it, cause you can't do it and then just let it grow back up. But, you know, me and Bobby went back there and we was looking at it, and, the only other thing I could think of is, which I don't know if it's even possible, but where you could put From there, put a drop in down and run pipe over to where the retention pond is, and then put a manhole down in through there where that water would run through, and leave the top with a, not open, but like with a screen or something, if it would build up and then overflow, so it would just overflow right into the retention pond, and then it'd be just a straight shot, but at least that would be some way to drain it. I don't know what else to do besides have to go through there and try to, dip and clean it out, but we don't have, like I said, we don't have any easements, so that's something we're.
And the retention pond you're talking about, that's owned by the church? Or
Correct.
the city?
The church.
And you said that the original drain, that all drained through there before, that was the city's place for it to drain before they built the church?
Correct.
So I wonder how that was allowed to happen, but that's another story, I guess. So are you wanting to get Dale and his crew to get in there and get you some plans on how?
We'll have to look at something, because it is, that water stands down there even after a while. Look at the easements and stuff and see what we can get. And, if you just if we had the easements, if you just turned us loose, we could do something through there. But like I said, the problem is right now is just there's not enough, I don't know who owns the property that it comes down. But we could get it where it would drain. But then again, when it comes down to Bailey Street, it goes down a ditch and hits another pipe, then goes over to Southeast First Street, and then it goes all the way to Elliott. So then that's gonna be really.
Is the drainage through there, do we already own all the easements for that drainage, or is that on private?
That's private.
The whole area is?
Yeah, that property all next to it, there's just a utility easement right behind the houses, then the rest of it's all private property.
It'd probably be, you think it'd be more efficient to do like a drop in the pipe like we were talking about, and let it cover up the grass and not have the open ditch to mess with?
Oh, yeah, you could put underground, probably put some underground pipe going down through it, but the thing is, you'd have to have, a certain size where, it's gonna back up, because the ditch out there off of Bailey Street, it'll only take so much anyway. So, either way, it's gonna back up, but the thing is, at least it would have a way for it to drain. That's just.
The natural drainage through Bailey Street area, would it help that any if it's all cleared and cleaned out like we did up on North Elliott with the Nunley place?
Well, it's mainly, when that field there across it, it just basically needs to be mowed. There's not really a lot of trees or debris or anything blocking it. There's just nothing that goes to it. It's just a natural.
Flow.
Yeah, now when it builds up, it just goes back to the right, back to the south, and then comes back down to Bailey Street. So, but if you've actually made something or, for it to go into, it's probably still gonna back up some, because you can't put, one side you got 3 feet of fall, on the other side back over here, you don't have that much, so. But, yeah, it's something got to be done, because like I said, it was going up in their yards and stuff like that, so, we gotta figure something else out, go down through there.
Dale, have you looked at it?
I haven't looked at it yet, but I kind of went over it a little bit with the mayor.
Okay.
I need to go back and look at the hydrology report from the church and look at the flows that are going in there, so yes, we'll take a look at it and see what we think.
So are you good with that, having him start to look?
Yeah, we did, we need to get something to look at and, start getting these figured out, that we.
And not necessarily just come up with a plan for the future, but something we need to take care of, like,
Well,
in
for,
the next year?
yeah, maybe for this next year, if we could get some easements, if nothing else, we could go in there, if we didn't have like I say, had the funds, or we wasn't ready for it, if we got the easements, we could still go in through there and have an open ditch back behind it, which would help drain some of the problem, alleviate the backup so much on it, so.
So to help speed the process up, we still need the easements. So is that something that the city clerk or whoever does, can we start getting that?
So, have you guys seen the flooding? I'm sorry, buddy.
No, we have not.
So this comes from Mrs. Webster. See how that's much higher there? And when you drive to the end of that road,
This is the end of Graham Court.
yeah, you're actually looking up at the parking lot. See that, Bruce?
Yeah, see that.
And then what that's causing,
Oh, that's serious.
and so on one of the houses, I was out there with you and I were looking, wasn't it? And it's about that far, when you say about 2 feet up on that house, you can see the water line across there. And so where that gets us is, you can see where the water line Mub's utilities are at. And And so I've already had Jared send us the utility easements and what's there. There's gas, water, and sewer, sanitary sewer. So I've got, Dale's gonna look at the hydrology of the church, see how that does, see where we're at, and that's kind of the starting, see what they can think. I think their detention pond, we decided, the detention pond sits up here, and all of that's down here. So,
Well, that's
we just have to see what,
pretty serious deal if the house is in.
In the bureaucracy of the city, where did all that fail, that was allowed to be built up like that to
I don't have an answer for that. That was,
way before?
I wasn't even on the council when those decisions were made, so,
Okay.
but that's where we're gonna go. We're gonna start looking at
Okay, Buddy, are there any other new and additional drainage issues that you're,
No, I think that was the only one that we talked about, because there was, so far, everything, I mean, we've been able to, like I said, clean ditches and stuff like that, and flush the pipes out, so it's pretty well taken care of everything, but that's the only, well, that, or the one there on, behind Joe Bowling's, that one out there, we still don't know if they're gonna give any easements for us to go under to clean.
I'll tell you about that when we get to it all.
Oh, is it on there?
I got a
yeah,
plan.
it's
Okay.
on here too.
Okay.
The other was behind, that I talked to Dale about, was behind Dr. Raines and Bruce, so he's
Yeah.
gonna go ahead and write up the easements. I told him to write them up, and then I'll just have Dr. Raines sign.
Okay, so for the record on that, this is the drainage off of Ridgewood Drive and down in off of Elliott,
Correct.
on the Range property.
Yes, and that ultimately goes up through Centennial Park, so that's where that
Yeah,
starts.
that's the same creek right there.
Yep.
Okay, so we got the ball rolling on that. You have anything that you wanna add to that or talk about?
No, I think, that's the only
Okay.
thing, just to get the easement done, we can get after it, I think.
Okay, item number 9 is update discussion on the Salt Branch Drainage Project. Dale, that one's on you.
We're working on two projects out there as far as Salt Branch goes. I went ahead and just listed out all the projects we're working on, but those two are in here.
Okay,
I gave mine to Buddy.
As far as the phase 2, the one that's going down can't think of the guy's name, Lattimore?
Larimore.
Larimore, yes. The only thing we got left there to do is just seeding on the north side. He's been needing to seed for the last 2 weeks. He can't get in there. It's just too wet. He's gonna have to wait till the rain stops for at least a week or so for him to get in there. But that's all he has left. And then the ditch repairs, the Nunley place, we ought to be done by the end of the week.
Okay.
So,
Has anybody noticed with all the rain we've had, is this flowing better through there across the Larimore property?
So, the last couple big heavy rain pours we've had, I went over there during the rain, and it was doing what it should do. In fact, Carolyn Irwin lives right there just to the south of him. She's got a little Charger or whatever, little sports car she drives. And she said she was actually able to get out of her driveway while it was raining. Normally, she has to wait an hour or so. And everybody up there has said it's fabulous. The only thing we have to do is figure out where the street transitions from the new to the old. The stuff that's on the north that we tried to drain is draining. It's doing well engineered. Good job, attaboy.
yeah.
But the stuff on the south part of that, North Elliott, is still retaining a little bit of water, and I think Buddy's crew can work on just putting a little, I think it's just that lip, where that lip is at, is creating a little bit of a hold up of water, but it's draining good. Mr. Kernut caught me and said that he had no backup on the backside of his property, first time in a long time. He thinks all of that riprap through there and redirection and cleaning out. So residents have given thumbs up and much appreciative.
So we're good.
So if you're at Kernut's house and you're looking you're standing in the street, you're looking south, or let me rephrase that, if you're down there below Kernut's, about where the staging area is for Key's equipment, and you're looking north in the middle of the street, it looks like it's a higher elevation there.
Mhm.
Is
It is.
that,
It's
is
all
that,
draining.
it's all draining to this?
Yeah, that was flowing. There was actually, on that north part that was retaining water around to the La Valley house, all of that was almost, I mean, there was no puddles that I saw in the last heavy rain. Not talking about the one Saturday, but I mean, week before, there was no puddling going on. It was all running down into that ravine that we built and right on out. I caught Kernut shortly after. I don't remember what day it was. We were over there looking at the Giles property, and he caught me and he said, "Man, it's great. All that cleaning out that went back to where Larry started during that time. He had nothing but praise." So
Okay. Councilman?
I'm good. Sounds good so far.
Okay. Yeah, here's my baby right here, item number 10, the downtown alley project.
Mhm.
When are they gonna get started?
They're good, they're waiting on the weather. Okay, that they were gonna get here, and they've been rain, promised me Monday, but it, what,
Now, with all the Rose Street here, it's,
if there's some, but if,
well, I'm talking if that's what it is, but I'm just saying it's,
Like utility cuts collapsing, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll look and see what.
see what we need to do, we need to put some gravel in there, take it.
Yeah, 'cause
And-
a lot of their lines, they use, which there's no compaction down
Yeah.
the lines, but they only so much, so it's, usually when you get somebody that drives fast through here, it beats it up, and that may be something what it maybe look like.
have
No,
you,
but I
have you
have-
driven down that lately?
No, nobody's
Oh.
called or said anything about anything, usually.
Well, I didn't want to say anything because I figured that y'all already knew it, but it's bad.
So I noticed the other day as I was looking out the window, there's a lot of the delivery trucks that go down through there for some of those businesses, Boomerang, their food truck. I think that's kind of what you're seeing is, like he said, the compaction, the wash down, and then you go from that hole right over that manhole cover. And it's a jostle, but I think it's fixable.
And then in the area there, but between, Carl's Jr., as you're going south behind Thomas's there, there's one section, they did the whole alley, except there's one little small section of it that you can tell was milled, but they stopped the asphalt on either end of it, maybe concrete and then asphalt again, but they left just a little strip milled, but didn't do anything to it other than, yeah.
Well, I got the answer for that, is when they milled that asphalt off top of it, there wasn't anything wrong. Is the dig outs that utilities done on South Ader,
Mhm.
we used that asphalt for that part. So utilities gonna reimburse us for that asphalt since we used it for, to fill in all their dig outs through there. I talked with Red over, there wasn't, and I went back and looked, there was nothing wrong with it. So instead of trying to mill all that down, they just milled the top of it off. So we just kind of swapped that for that, so it didn't cost anything extra, but we filled the utility cuts on South Adair. There was, the tonnage was just almost the same. So that's why that one was done.
You're talking about in the alleyway, right? Just to the, east of Adair,
Yeah, where
or
Braun
west,
used to be.
west of Adair.
East.
Which is the urgent care.
Yeah, east.
Where goes the hotel, the urgent.
Well, no, it'd be west, it's where Carl's Jr. is going
You're
south
talking about a different alley, okay. I'm with you.
between Second and Third.
Yeah, cause you got Thomas's right here, then you got urgent care, and it's just right there.
About that, where that urgent care is.
Yeah, right there behind that.
Is that one of the places we're gonna,
No, that was already fixed. I mean, that's.
that was already done?
Yeah, no, the other one is just behind that grocery store, or not grocery store, the convenience store there.
That's the bad one, yeah.
So, no, that one there, that's why it's not overlaid, it was because when they milled it off, the concrete was just, I mean, there wasn't nothing wrong with it. So we just, me and Red talked about it, and, cause we was gonna have to go extra over for South Adair, which utilities was gonna pay for anyway, but we just saved that and just swapped it over with that other one. So that's what so there wouldn't be an extra, change order
Okay.
for that and back and forth, so.
So that, when it clears up, they're gonna move in, and
Yes.
how long do you think it'd take them to do it?
It should take a couple of weeks to do it. I
Okay.
mean, it ought to go real quick,
Okay.
once they get here.
Okay.
Get some decent weather, I mean, keep them out of the alleys. They just stick to it, 'cause like I said, it's basically just overlaying now, so it could probably, 3 or 4 days, just depending on,
Okay.
but
Okay. Bruce?
Okay, 17th Street,
Yeah, we're on item number 11 now. Update discussion on 17th and the South Oklahoma
are
Street
you
drainage.
familiar, Dale, what we're talking about at all? Where the 17th in Oklahoma, the drainage, it goes into private property, and there's a pond at the end of it, and it's full of trees and everything else, and it's backing up all the way through.
I don't recall looking at
That's the one where you and I were talking about, the alley that runs behind the houses. Bruce was gonna try to get the easements from the
Oh.
property owner, and it goes out into county or whatever, and
Yeah.
we need to.
And Steve Powell had done an approximate cost of the plan for that. And remember, Mayor, you didn't know anything about it, and I sent it to you. Did you forward it on to Dale? So at least he knew something.
About it.
Somewhere or another in your record, you should have, I hopefully you have, it, but I can send it to you, or the mayor's got it.
It was probably a more massive thing, I think.
It was an
than what
estimated
we-
cost of over $1 million to fix it overall.
It
That
was
was
from the high school all the way down this area. Buddy and I talked about it, he said if he could get back there on Taylor's and doze it out, cut the dam, dig it out, and riprap it, we'd have a lot cheaper, easier fix.
Mhm.
Taylor's are receptible to, they wanna see the plans of what we wanna do. They will not give a permanent easement, they'll give temporary.
we'll see, you can have temporary, but the bad part about it is if you dig all that and put that back in there, when that stuff grows back up, then you're gonna be having another catch of anything that blows over limbs or whatever that's gonna catch, it's gonna build up. That's why I always like to have permanent, so you can get in there and maintain it. You can mow it or spray it or whatever, you get riprap, then you can go in there and spray it down, kill all the stuff out.
I think we can probably work that, they don't wanna do a permanent due to, if they sell that land, it would be something on the title that they wouldn't want on there. I think we can do the temporary and get by with it a lot cheaper, like you described.
It would last long enough till I retired, and
I'm already retired.
But then there's also the issue, I went down there after the last street meeting with Terry Allward, and Joe Bowling happened to be out in the yard. And the concrete canal through there, it was nasty. It has sediment built up in it and green moss, and it was nasty and stunk. And I know it's wet now, but that would probably help the problem of the stench and everything.
yeah, cause the water can't go down.
Yeah,
I mean, it's gonna stand up there.
And it's the same way on the west side of that bridge.
Yeah, cause that water can't funnel itself on out
Right.
to get rid, because there for a while, when it was dried up, the water would go on down, but like I said, with the beavers and the trees and stuff, you can go out and, tear the dams out a little bit to help alleviate the problem, but it drains so slow, and then when the sun comes out, it starts building that.
Yeah, it's just a flat back,
Mildew or whatever,
just
but
a backup that
yeah,
it's got,
So-
yeah,
In the concrete canal plus that behind.
yeah.
yeah, Terry and I looked at the concrete canal, it's just a big mud built up from backups all day. Once we get that fixed, I think, then we can come backwards and clean that out, and I think we'll be in good shape.
Well, see, we cleaned it out from around the corner from Joel's all the way down to that fence.
Yeah,
Well, see, another problem is the homeowners down there, when they cut their grass, they dump the grass out there, they throw the pallets out there,
yep.
and,
And there's still evidence of the grass being thrown back there.
The last time I looked, there was a mattress back there.
yeah,
It was
see,
about 12
that's
feet.
against city ordinance.
Yeah,
So, that's the only way you're gonna do it, you're gonna have to start writing some tickets or something, I don't know. I've talked to them, I'm blue in the face, and it don't do no good.
I think if we get a plan drawn up, Dale will get us a plan, get it to Taylor, and then look at, see what we wanna do, I think we can make it work.
But I think if we just finish it off like we done, coming off Oklahoma, and put down through there, you probably only had to have probably one 3-foot block with a concrete bottom, so we could get in there with a skid steer.
Yep.
Where you can at least get through it and you can scrape it out. Nothing really elaborate. We done that in
Well, I think we can do it
a
a
couple weeks, 2 or
lot,
3 weeks. We had some dry weather when we got back there.
I think we can make it work, and a lot cheaper than $1 million too.
Well, he was talking about all the way from 14th Street,
Yeah, I know.
because we're Fairland Street, where it floods down through there. He was talking about coming all the way over and then back to that retention pond. I know he's talking about cutting the middle out, trying to do away with some of them pipe, and them pipe, we've been having troubles with them because turtles are getting stuck in them. And then when we go through there to rod them out, and then we get pieces of turtle, so they're getting
Well, I
stuck
don't
in
even
there.
wanna talk about turtles, I got in trouble with beavers with the mayor, I don't wanna talk about turtles.
Okay.
Listen, you're
That'd be-
slacking, man, they're all over town.
Yeah, we're
They're
about
on
to
the
one line.
loose.
It'd be busy.
Dale, do you have any questions on this, or?
No, when he said Fairland Street, I know exactly what he's talking about, because Steve was talking about replacing all the drainage pipe down into the street, all the way to where it goes off into the county. What you're saying is let's look at it just from the county on, and hold off on the other and see if it's an issue.
I think it'll work if we get where it's running to stop it. If we get it open, I think the rest of it will run. I think, don't you,
I
buddy?
think what he had told me was pipes were too small up there, and we need to put some larger pipes in, but I'll go take a look at it. I know exactly where you're talking about now.
Behind Lincoln School.
Yeah.
Jay, I'd like to keep this on the agenda every meeting until, just to keep on our radar about it, if you don't mind. Okay, well, to tie in with this project then, because of this issue that we got with the Creekside Church and that problem there, let's think ahead. When they get the football field done, how's that gonna affect drainage going all through there that we aren't even probably thinking about?
That should stay east of what we're talking about right now. If you get to put up a map where that comes across there, you can see where there's another pond and stuff that's,
Yeah, Buddy and I looked at it.
yeah, somewhere over, where their house is back here, somewhere on the backside of that.
Yeah.
It should not funnel over to,
It'll actually run into Scarborough Lake, which is Taylor's, but it won't, I don't think it won't have the flooding effect it's got on 17th.
yeah,
It's not gonna, it shouldn't run down there where we got a problem, if we looked at it right.
yeah. Well, that may have been the other drainage, cause see, when the city, took in their substation there on, southeast 9th, we inherited that pipe that goes across that road. So there's something there we're gonna have to look at to, put several pipe down it or some concrete, drainage pipe underneath of it or something, to go, because once all that water comes right down to that, I think it's a 12-inch pipe that's under it. And, it'll never, what I'm afraid of is that road there, if we don't do something also, that it's gonna overflow that one, and we're gonna have to end up putting gates on that one on both ends to block it off, because if the water goes across it, we're not allowed to let anybody go around, so. But I think.
Well, the water that is gonna drain south off of that football field, how's it gonna get across 9th Street there without additional drainage and ditches and such? Or do they already have underground pipe going across underneath 9th Street?
Well,
They don't?
there's a county one, the county had it, there was I think it's a 12-inch pipe that goes across 9th Street, that goes into that, well, their drainage comes down to it, there's a pipe there that goes across, but we told them it's so old and school on the other side.
Mhm.
This water to us, we'll have to deal with that, and then they're gonna have to deal with it on the other side.
So we probably might put 2 more pipe maybe in where that one's at, or to.
Well, that's what we're just looking, I
I'll
mean,
take a look at it, guys.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll take a look at it and let the city know what size pipe it needs to be to take care of the future.
Cause we're gonna have to stay ahead of that because of all that water coming off there. Cause it's city limits all the way to Carbide Road, right? 9th Street's ours.
Yeah, we talked about that, so Dale's kinda got a heads up on,
Okay.
he's seen the pictures and,
we go all the way to Carbide,
9th Street's yours
Okay.
all the way.
then I said unforeseen business. I need a map that shows what's mine, what I need to take care of.
Well,
Cause I was
back
going to
before,
the substation,
I agree 100%, and back before Steve left, I talked to him about getting Buddy the maps that he needed, cause I don't know if you've been down to the street department, but he doesn't have the quality and modernized maps of anything. He's got some stuff on his wall down there that's hand-drawn in and notes on it, but he needs modern, up-to-date stuff.
yeah, cause and then if we also, we get down, we take in more, but at least I can get on there make changes myself and make little notes where I know what I'm supposed to maintain. Cause see, somebody asked me the other day, well, how far to go down? I said, well, to the substation. You know, but if we go all the way out through there, and somebody calls me about a bad spot in the road, I just tell them, well, no, that's county. Well, then,
Well, if you don't have a map, it's not your fault, so.
but I mean, the way Pryor is growing, I know sometimes you can pull it up online, but sometimes where that line comes from,
We're wrong. We're wrong. You are correct.
You were the one who told me that.
Well, here's the map, and it does show that on Highway 20, we do go to Carbide Road.
Yes.
And we come down, I don't know, 100 yards, whatever, but on 9th Street, it does stop right about that substation.
Substation, okay.
I am to be corrected on that. If I said that wrong, then I'm bad.
but see, and again, we also need to get with, one of these days, me and the mayor's already talked about it, we just hadn't had a chance of getting there, but I'd like to get with the commissioners, and then we all sit down and find out who does what, you know? If we just have the ditch, or if we have half the road, or all the road and not the other ditch or something, but I'd like to find that out, because, if we're taking that in, there's a lot of work that needs to be done to a lot of the ditches out there, and driveways and for people and stuff, and, just things like that, because I've not intentionally lying, but somebody say, well, I'm inside the city limits, and I'm thinking, well, I know you can have city utilities, but not necessarily be in the city limits. So I don't wanna be lying to people and come up and I get some
Yeah, I think
horse heads on my front porch.
it's very minimal, get you a new map, at least, to know where you're arguing about. See,
And with that map and knowing exactly where all his stuff is that's out in the county, so to speak,
Yeah,
you're gonna hate to hear this, but he's gonna need some more people to maintain all this stuff, but that's all other animal.
yeah, I know. More people everywhere.
You bring all this stuff into the city, but then you don't wanna provide the manpower to take care of it.
Yeah, 'cause I still got storm damage I need to go home and cut, so.
Okay, anything else on that? From anybody? Okay, Dale, you're on now. 12th Street, or Elliott Street from 12th to 15th.
Okay, I'd like to introduce Jimmy,
Jimmy Sides.
Engineering. We contracted with him to do a traffic study of the intersection on 9th and Elliott. I'll leave it.
Sure,
I'll let you take it from.
Well-
Excuse me just a minute.
You bet.
That's item number 13 on the agenda. Let's go ahead and get you done, since you're probably from out of town, so yeah.
I'm
We'll
sorry.
do, we'll switch.
Was I someplace else?
We'll go to this.
It's all right.
It's all good.
Okay.
Oh, Bruce. This is probably the main summary. But
I understand y'all haven't had a chance to look at the electronic version of the report yet. Well, it's somewhat of a traditional type of traffic study. I normally follow Institute of Transportation Engineers, ITE recommended practice. In this particular case, with the understanding, as y'all travel this, y'all might know this is already somewhat congested in the school peak periods, when it's taking people on, releasing back. And then with the concern about how's this gonna all operate when we get the new high school football stadium in place. And I was at near the end of that analysis, and then we learned, and we also got a middle school coming, so I backed up and we pumped that in there. And the fact is that it was good that we learned about the middle school, because it's actually more critical to the operations of the intersection than actually the high school football stadium, because its peak times is usually for like a 7 p.m. football game in the evening, on a Friday evening. By that time, you're already past your peak periods. So it wasn't actually the more critical concern, it's actually the addition of the traffic associated with the middle school. So what I did with the analysis was, initially we always go out and we recon the intersection. We collect traffic counts, we collect what we call turning movement counts, and we bring all that into a model and create a micro simulation. That helps us compute performance measures. They come out of the 67-year-old manual guideline that traffic engineers use called the highway capacity manual. They come up with, there's the primary methodology various performance levels. Those are based on what they call control delay, how long it takes to get through the intersection. And there are some types of analysis that are more critical than others. The 8th and 7th edition, some people will say, I go through that every day and it's just terrible. Others will say it's not as bad as all that. But with the analysis, it was actually showing that with the addition of the middle school, it will start performing below what we call an acceptable level of service, which is normally a D level of service at peak periods. We can't design infrastructure to perform at A or B level at any time during the day. If we did that, we wouldn't have enough money to build anything. And so the general accepted process is to say what would be acceptable at the peak period. We don't want it to fall below a D level of service. And that's what, I beg your pardon, I must have accidentally passed that. Not knowing how to run this thing. But, so with that, and seeing, and I'm kind of show you what it looks like here in a minute. I wasn't able to actually get this on here, but I have created micro simulations to actually show how this works in operation during peak hour for that peak traffic. And what you see, if you were to look at this, I've got this, cars don't actually travel that fast. I've got that 4 times speed because what you want to, one of the things you look at in evaluating is the queuing, as well as the control delay, how long it takes to get through. You want to see how long you're backing up, and is that acceptable, or does that back up and become problematic for other intersections, other driveways, and things like that. So, like I said,
Will we take it up?
One-
Show you
sure,
where you're
sure,
talking.
that's fine. Well, there's 2 of those. I think I've got that right now set on existing conditions for the AM peak period, which was the worst. And then in looking at several different scenarios, I actually came up with, I don't know if that's going to stay there, but I can do this for you. I'm going to show you, this is the existing condition right here. And what it's doing, I'm going to take it back to the beginning. If you were to watch this, you can already see some of the queuing occurring here. And if you were to watch that, and again, this is at 4 times speed, because if you just want to say, I want to get a feel for the queuing, this is what we offer. We don't want to have to watch a video for an hour to see those things. But
What time period is this?
this is in the morning. This is AM peak period for going into school. I think
Okay,
it's,
what about the afternoon? Is there
we
anything-
looked at the peak period for that too, and this actually, believe it or not, was the worst scenario, especially when we added the middle school traffic. I think what's going on in that regard, because maybe that sounds counterintuitive, but I think what's happening is there's some sporadic pickup of kids during the day, so that there's not as much. I was trying to figure out why it would be worse, but that's what that model showed.
Well, we get a lot of, I assume this is south, right?
Yes, that's going south.
We get a lot of plant traffic on South Elliott coming into there too. So I don't know if in the mornings, I'm sure there is, but it may be a different time rather, but in the evening, 3 to 5, it's really heavy coming from the south.
And what we did is, when we don't know exactly when the peak periods are, I collected traffic in the peak period from 3 to 6, not knowing exactly when. You got 2 peaks. You got the school peak, you got the work hour peak. And the school peak eclipsed that. Even though that may be a lot of traffic, believe it or not, the amount of traffic associated with that school eclipses it. That's the reason we focused our analysis on that particular period. Not to say that's not bad, but if you fix the intersection to where it will accommodate the peak traffic, anything less than that would operate.
So
slightly
this traffic from the south also from the grade schools?
All of the traffic that this
This
is
is just
simulating.
high school, right?
No, all the,
It's a fire station right here.
what this
Yeah, that's
represents is, when we collected the traffic data, I put it into the model, so this represents what's out there now.
Okay.
So, now, like I said, and I don't wanna overkill, and y'all can certainly email me any questions you got, but what I also did, is I looked at, after recognizing we've got an unacceptable level of service during that, it was a 2034 projection. You got the background traffic, 10-year up plus, say nothing changes, just project up at the growth rate this area is growing, did that, then we added that middle school, because my understanding is supposed to be hitting around 2029. So I knew in 10 years we're gonna have that middle school going. And that's the one that became critical. So for that, I started saying, okay, what can we do tried, and granted, with trying to do it with the least cost as possible. So the first thing we attempted to do was to do what we call a optimization of the existing signal timings. That didn't have hardly any effect. This has probably been tweaked already to some degree, either by folks here in town or they'll maybe hired some contractors. I wasn't able to optimize it well enough to get it off this problem. And so the next thing, I said, well, what about some slight equipment modifications? We've got right now, we've got what we call protected signals north-south, where you can only turn and you can halt. I said, well, for whatever reason, why don't we put in, I attempted to change that out with a, what they call protected permitted, similar to what's going east-west. That also did not cure the issue to the point where we're bringing this up. So finally I said, and then I kind of knew this probably was going to be the case after doing a number of these. Dropped in a turn pocket on the east-west, and that cleared the problem up. And that's not really, that evolution of intersection capacity increase is not really unusual. Now, I will say this, and I mentioned this in the report, that for many intersections in urban areas, suburban areas, you can lose you can have brief periods of level of service below D. So you can get E and maybe a short burst of F. Does that, the city's got to make a determination if that's bad enough to where they want to, deal with the cost of the infrastructure improvement. But I did go ahead and show you what that would look like here. Get back to that. This is where I've added the, let me see if I can blow that up just a little bit, make it see a little better. A little bit better. But this is where I've added in the turn pockets. And if you see that, this is during the peak period. Again, it's taking those queues down, and we're getting to acceptable levels of service. I think we're getting to a C level of service, actually. Of course, now, my projection, I think I had figured a 1% growth per year based on the existing, now, at the rate, y'all mentioned that Pryor is growing, I might be a little bit conservative in that. I've seen in my studies, but even in Tulsa, in the middle of Tulsa, where we're seeing negative growth. And in those cases, often the traffic engineer will ask me to either assume, it's not growing, it's not decreasing, or want me to tack on a 1% growth. Because we want to think in terms of it's growing. But I think with Mid-America and everything that's happening around here, it's probably a good idea that at least a 1% growth is reasonable.
Now, is this control you're talking about with lights, or is it control
The signals.
with
I think
building more roads?
No, this would be the addition of turn pockets, which would require us to upgrade those signals.
Okay.
The existing signal would have to be upgraded.
Now, what I was asking if this is ideal of using signal lights rather than building another lane or building more roads out there. We're gonna do it with signal lights to make your.
Well, in other words, we're going to add effectively an auxiliary lane, a left turn lane, to allow some of the traffic that's directionally, that's having to get backed up into a single lane to get split off and be able to have a better ability to get through the intersection in a single phase. And so effectively it's both, to answer your question. We're talking about adding additional capacity to the intersection in the form of a left turn lane. And then, and then finally, we would have to modify the signal to accommodate that additional turn lane.
Would it have to widen the road any to make that
Yes.
happen?
Yes, and then what I did in that regard, this is good one to bring up. I looked at two scenarios. Sure. Ways basically, if, for example, the determination is it's better, it's more feasible to widen in one side versus symmetrical widening, then the time frame, to meet the criteria, it takes longer to transition, and so that could actually affect a longer stretch of roadway. See what I'm saying? So it's kind of like, half a dozen one way, six to the other. In other words, from the standpoint of cost, if you want to transition over with just one side, for example, say there's just a major issue. Sometimes I've seen everything, high pressure gas line, all kinds of issues sometimes you just don't want to get into. So you widen the road one side, but that ends up creating a longer extension of the road. Whereas you would be able to shorten it through a symmetrical widening. But I showed both dimensions on there roughly, with a 12-foot offset versus a 6-foot.
One thing we looked at, Jim, if you don't mind, the power lines right now run right down this side of the road. And in order to take more of that, now you're gonna have to go relocate power lines, power poles and everything else. If we just go this direction, there's some major drainage structures right there that we would have to deal with, but we can always put a cap on them and move some more drainage structures over or something, so.
How much the fire department lobby you gonna take in doing that way?
How much total width did you estimate we would have to get?
Well, you're probably looking at 60 feet, just for, it simply depends on what kind of language you're willing to live with.
But not, you're just talking about 60 total, how much additional would they need?
How close would you have to get
Well,
to
you know,
the top
curb,
of it?
curb and gutter section, you know, we want to have clear zone usually at a minimum 1.5 foot past the base of your curb. And so, I mean, and then I would have to assume in this whole area, we want to have improved pedestrian sidewalks and ADA features. And it's already set up with pedestrian crosswalks anyway, but those probably have to be modernized to some degree with the, because what we're going to get into, no matter how we do this, is probably each one of these radiuses is going to get impacted. So the intersection's going to have to be pretty much overhauled.
Well, on the right side of the screen, the top building's the fire department.
Right.
The bottom is the electrical poles. So if we take on the top, we're gonna be right there in the back door of the fire department. If we
We will be
take
getting
more there.
closer to this.
Well, when you get into the throes of design, trying to wrestle those two, this was just basically an analysis to determine how to solve the problem, and it needs more capacity. When you get into that, then you can, you know, there are a lot of cities adopting as much as 10-foot travel lanes. We can look at ways to minimize the roadway widths. I kind of sometimes cringe a little bit when you get into a non-protected turn lane, protection in the form of a raised median of some sort, with 10 feet. It's pushing the limit of my comfort. If there's any type of transit buses ever coming down through, you kind of like to keep that outside lane at 12 feet. So, I mean, there's a lot of things to consider, but there are techniques to try to minimize the
At 10 feet, probably give you a problem with school buses turning in one.
I mean,
That-
And some school buses use those kind of big, huge
Yeah.
Continental Trailways kind of buses too.
now, I will say that these things going on this way are not much more than 10 feet right now, but, you know, like I say, typically, you know, I like to think a little bit more like 11 men. BRT traffic, for example, I don't see a BRT bus here anytime soon, but they, look at the federal guidelines, they want 12 feet. And so, but I can show you many roads in Tulsa that do not meet that criteria.
So with that scenario, something to keep in mind is, yes, we've talked about, if this were the area to go, we would take up, about another 13 feet of that, where that sidewalk is. But also, remember that we also added parking lot a year and a half ago. So that's usually fairly empty. So they're not gonna be without parking if that were the way to go. But that would have to, we would, like Dale said, we'd have to move the drainage and then take a shave of that property.
Well, that's probably though, if I'm looking at it right, it's cheaper on the north side than the south side.
Yeah, that's what he's saying, because I'm sorry, Dale.
Well, how far south are you talking about taking this?
I think we'd be remiss, though, you know, in my scope of my study, my focus was concentrated on this intersection. Figuring out how it's operating, how it would operate with these new conditions, and how could you mitigate that to have something work within acceptable level. But, you know, Dylan and I got to talking after that, and if there are some plans floating about some connectivity back to the highway on the other side, that would probably relieve a great deal of the traffic that is northbound, and that might allow this to stay operating effectively in its current condition. So I don't know really what those plans are, but I wouldn't want to just make a decision on this in a vacuum. If there's any plans about that road, over there by the substation going up north,
That
I don't
could
know,
very,
which I'm ignorant of.
that could very well be the best plan, maybe.
I think that's.
But realistically, what's being planned about that? And who's
I
got
wasn't
the ball
just now
rolling
talking
on it?
about it, so I don't know.
There's other entities outside of the school that have, not the school, the city, that have brought that up. It's not anything set in stone, it's not anything we're
That's
That's
probably
fair to
not a
say.
bad thought though, is it?
No, it's not, it's actually a wonderful idea.
Yeah.
Well, and
But it's
also,
gonna cost a couple $1 million to do.
this, what you just got now with this study would be supported from the standpoint of grant pursuit. That's one of the first things, how much, and often the people reading those grant applications want to know, well, how much skin in the game has the city got looking at trying to resolve this challenge? And when they see, well, I've done an engineering study, that might be supported. So,
Well, and
even-
on that, oh, sorry, on that note, as you talk about the grants, where that is specifically is beneficial to the conversation, buddy, you've kind of been a little familiar with the guy, from Olson, Denny?
Oh, yeah.
And we were talking when they did their open house at the bunker last week, him and I were talking about that, and the Safe Trails, for School, program that the federal government has, through whoever that goes through, does provide rural communities like ours, and I don't remember what the threshold of population is, it was like 15 to 25,000, if I remember right. But we more than qualify for those safe paths, what is it?
It's Safe Path School.
It's SS4A.
And there's also TAP, there's a Tiger
Yeah.
Grant,
But it
there's a lot of transportation.
It
grants out
supports
there.
sidewalks and growth into those,
Mhm.
providing safe pathways, and they're millions of dollars. But that too is, as we talk grants, we talk about it, that's down the road, that's couple of years or more out.
You gotta have something like this to get that ball rolling. They're just not gonna say, okay, where's your issues at? Well, we got an issue here. How do you know you got an issue there, you know?
Right.
But even if you're looking at another road to connect to Highway 20, we still got a plan for growth.
Correct.
And it still may need to take this intersection being done too, especially if there's gonna be a middle school built within the next 10 years or so on the corner of, corner of 9th and Oklahoma. Putting the road help for that football field's one thing, and that would help for that area too, but still, traffic is gonna increase through there, and they got a plan for the future. And it probably would have to be both to put that infrastructure in place.
the road addition could could give you some added time on an intersection perhaps.
Well, that's only if you could get the road built tomorrow, you know. I would think the quicker solution would be fix the intersection, and then later get the additional road. I could be wrong.
Well, I'm gonna tap onto that and say, I think right now we leave that road addition as a dream, and if we can get to it, but right now, that's what we have, that's where our problem is, and that's what we need to focus on. And we're in summer, and if there's something small that we can do during the summer break to get traffic moving, you know, that's what will bring Dale into that.
We're talking about going westbound on that northeast corner there. But how is it gonna affect the other four corners of that intersection? Does stuff need to be widened
What happens
going,
when you add that additional, auxiliary lane, that liberates other lanes for traffic that was queuing up, that had every intention to turn east, for example, for westbound vehicle, but they had to wait for the people going through. Now all of a sudden, they have a dedicated lane to go straight through. So it's just kind of interesting to see when you drop those in and rerun the model, how quickly that will take you into an acceptable. It's just hard to, that's why you see intersections evolve in this matter from standpoint of a capacity improvement, especially when you've got this many vehicles turning in. You know, it's pretty heavily, all the turning movements are pretty heavily used. And so, it just takes those queues down and gets people through the intersection, usually it's the correct cycle. So-
and the next other important question is what's the estimated cost?
Hadn't worked on that yet.
Well,
was waiting
depends
on
what we
this.
choose to do, that's really what it'll be.
Would it be a possibility to throw in this new road study as cost? I'm thinking that the state of Oklahoma owns most of that land on the other side, don't they?
There's a lot of issues with the land right now, so.
I'm just thinking, I was talking out loud.
No, but that's where it's at, I don't feel like school has talked, we've talked, no plans have been made. It's just, it's out there. Everybody's aware that is an option that would ease things. But again, there's not been any accountability to somebody saying, yeah, we'll flip the bill for that. So. we
I think
realize
we're probably still in discussion mode anyway, are we just throwing things, see where we come out best at?
Yes, for that, yeah, absolutely. For this intersection, it's time to act on it. And I'll tell you, as somebody who all up until last Thursday drives that intersection 2 times a day, if not more, like Jimmy said, with the northernmost lane right now being right turn and straight, 90% of the people are turning right, but it'll be those 1 or 2 people that need to go straight. And that's what, they have to wait for that light, and when you got 100 kids bailing out of that school at one time, it's gonna back up fast. And then the light is only, what, a minute long? Do you remember, Jimmy, how long that light cycle is?
It's, I don't have that exactly memorized, but.
It's not very
I did
long.
notice, yes, during that peak period, people are having to go through 1 or 2 at least cycles before they're finally able to get through. So
Right.
it's a real irritant. Granted, it's not a long period that occurs, but I can appreciate that.
But when doing this here now, towards the light cycle, towards the traffic control now, would the east and west be on at the same time as north and south? Or would it be like your east side of the road, it would come on for a couple of minutes where you could have either well, like that one, it's got a left turn lane, where you could have one where both lanes went straight, or that one was a turn lane. It run for, say, just say 2 minutes, and then it'd kick across over here, and it would run for 2 minutes, but you'd only have one side going at a time, where you'd have, like with your turn lane, then you wouldn't have to worry about your,
Well, you'll be releasing, in other words, when you've got a left turn movement in action, then the opposite right turn could go ahead and they would be released, because they'd have a signal allowing them to proceed. So,
because I know a lot of places now, I mean, I've been driving around, even Slime, I've noticed, when you come up to, was it 20 and 82, that it's just some of them, like come back from church, headed back north, you pull up to the light, the other side, it stops traffic, so you've got a turn lane and a forward lane, and it runs for so long, and then, then it clicks off, then you just have forward, then you have to, yield to oncoming traffic. But then the other way is also the same thing, it'll stop, but you only have one way going at a time.
Right now, the existing north-south is protected on. But yes, when we get done with this, they will all be protected permitted, so they have a green ball. So in other words, once, if they have a chance, an opening, they can go ahead. So that opens up and improves that clearing out of that movement.
What did you get your final design? Is it each direction at a time?
Well,
Or
yeah.
did you have both directions with protected left?
They would all be permitted protected, and they would, actually, this would just be adding, again, mainly the whiting would be focused on the east-west, but then, of course, that gets into the radius on north-south, so you would back up a little bit in that, but they've already got a protected permitted. When it's protected, it would be converted to permitted to protected. And so, basically, it would be somewhat equivalent, except the timings would be associated with the volumes of traffic that they deal with.
Do you wanna maybe show what we were talking about earlier with maybe that's what Buddy's getting at?
Look, like I said, I'm not good at explaining two things, but what I was thinking that, that these 3 sections here say we're headed east, or headed back west. This one, and this one would stop. This one here would have its own,
Correct.
where you're going straight, and then once, and have it for a timer on that one, that would shut down. So then you'd either do this side, opposite, the west side headed east, where it would do the same thing, where you had to turn or a straight, but you could also, I don't know if it would be where it would line up, like you was talking about adding another lane, where these two could go forward, or you could use this also as a turn lane, and just, just swap back and forth.
Well, we're gonna try the technology out,
Okay.
right? So,
Oh, man, I got a pen?
yeah, you got one too. You wanna play? All right, so, can you guys see over there? Do I need to go bigger?
No, you're right.
So let's hypothetically say that our curb, our curb still comes, but our curb still comes down and we still have 2 lanes, right? What I've kind of noticed is if we had, we're gonna talk west
staying up there.
Right, we're just discussing.
What I'm thinking in my mind, if we had a road that went from 9th Street to Highway 20, you wouldn't have all the traffic coming up at this intersection.
Correct.
And the road, the people that own the land between 9th Street and 20 is the department, the military department. So I don't know, maybe we could negotiate something with them cheaper than we could redo this intersection, or maybe have to do both, I don't know.
You're still a couple years out on that, and a couple years out, and a couple $1 million out. So that's why I say, right now, we look at that as a dream. That's what we'd like to see. That, I think everybody would agree, that would be great. That would allow the city to put some commerce there, whether it's restaurants or hotels, whatever that it brings in tax dollars, but it also accommodates the needs of the school for games, et cetera, whatever.
Yeah, it'd be good for the schools, especially.
That's an option, but I want to impress that the idea of doing this traffic study, and Jimmy will tell you, I kind of put the heat on it a little bit, wasn't I? I mean, let's get it done, because as the population of the kids grow, the population of the town is, you know, whatever growth we see there, that intersection is literally getting worse and worse by the day. We're seeing the traffic, putting the wear and tear on there, but more so, the other concern that I have is that as people are getting, I really love this is kind of fun. Not bad. Anyways, as we go up here with Mayor Wallace, there we go. Was that?
Betty, you wanna get up there and help me do
There
that?
we go, I got it.
Man, I want Jimmy's crayons.
So as we do that, what we're seeing is the families, parents, kids, I'm not gonna pin it all on one demographic, but as they're sitting way back here, I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've pulled out picking my daughter up, and I'm back here at the end of the Mayor Wallace community. And I watch drivers of all different ages, they come out through Mayor Wallace and come out up here above the police station. And that to me is a concern. I don't need traffic through the senior community just to bypass the stoplight.
Well, like I said, during that peak period, you can certainly make a strong argument that it needs a capacity increase. You know, if you can come up with other things to try to mitigate that, that's nice, but I can appreciate what you're saying. Right now, it's hurting for capacity during that peak, right, when school is letting out.
And you said there's no idea on the cost of this?
The cost for
Just a shop
signaling
around.
improvement's probably $200,000-300,000. The roadway improvement and the utilities, if there's any right of way, that gets pretty involved. I'd be, I don't know, hazard an estimate on that, I feel like a little bit premature to do that now.
Jimmy, let me ask you this, could this be done in phases? Would you say this turn lane is more critical than this turn lane?
No, I would say the turn lanes going toward the school are more critical
More critical?
to and from.
To and from school. So.
So you're probably looking at close to over $500,000 or more.
When you get
With
into.
new lines, at least.
Yeah, because everything's gotta be new technology, infrastructure, the utilities.
You got,
And these lines be reused?
there might be components, parts of it, that sometimes is more
We might
problematic
have
than
used
just
a little
redone.
bit of that. I'd have to get with Jared on that and see exactly.
What would you guess would be the time period in this? I know we're all guessing and
Oh,
discussing.
It's, you know, by the time you get the land and you get the design, you get the
Utilities
contractor
repair.
out there, you're talking about probably this time of next year to get it completed.
So it's, if
In
you do
in
a
fact, you probably don't wanna do construction during school, especially if that's the only way out. Okay, that's another thing we need to look at, when do we wanna do it? Because you probably don't wanna do that during school.
So just for point of reference for you guys as a street committee, when I went to talk to Jared about reprogramming the lights, I said, can we just reprogram the lights and get it done?
getting in, starting, getting out, that's the time to change the lights and move them out of there quicker. That don't sound like a bad idea.
Move them out of there quicker, but the key element of what I'm going, that's why I explained to Dale was, it, I've seen it, I've been watching, I've gone through Tulsa and other communities. Buddy says he sees it there in Salina where you have unidirectional flow at a time. So if you're going north, you're the only ones moving through that intersection. But the northbound traffic would have the ability, because nobody else is moving, to go right or left or straight. That opens up the problem coming from the high school. And in reality, we realize even though the peak time is in the morning, the problem is in the afternoon. And so what we're dealing with is, like I said, one guy in the right-hand turn that needs to go to Come and Go or Highway 69, or they're out there at Twin Creeks is where they live, so they need to go straight. But the only way they can go through that light legally is to sit in that right-hand turn lane, where I'd say probably 80 to 85% of the traffic is turning.
So probably immediate fix would be the light situation, set the lights up right.
See if we can, yeah, that's where but
But you still got, down the road, you're gonna have to do,
something's
Some
gonna have to
intersection.
get.
I'm afraid that we're just gonna change the light timing, and then we're just gonna sit back and say, okay, and not do anything to plan for the rest of the project.
Even if we do, this study was required. So we've fulfilled that requirement.
But it's not fixing the problem long-term for the growth. It's just putting a Band-Aid on it to say, okay, we got it good now, but then when we get the middle school built, we get the football field built, we're still gonna have this traffic problem that we're been putting off and putting off.
Correct.
And the prices are still gonna keep going up on construction
what
I
period of
understand that,
time
but I
is the
also
school
think-
gonna build the schools?
You don't have to know how many
within the
time
next 10
frames
years.
you're running. I just had that
Oh,
basic
in 10 years, we
information.
have that roadblock
I don't know.
across there.
What you're saying is not, it's possible, you know, you could, I don't have the actual printout from the control panel, so but it's possible you could input specified, timing plans just to address that, but I was looking at it as a general timing plan that would work all the time. That's,
Well, either way, you notice from the west going east and from the east going west, we have to widen on these plans. Okay, so we know what kind of dollars we're roughly looking about, you know, we're up into the millions. So, and I'm not trying to be a turd about this, but we've talked about drainage, we've talked about resurfacing, we've talked about other roads that need it and more drainage. Now we're talking about this, then we have to realize our pot only goes so far. So we can say, hey, let's try this option here and see if that gets the traffic moving while we come up with a way to settle this in the 2-3-year plan. I don't have anything to say to your concern about, well, we're gonna put a Band-Aid on it, not do anything going forward. That's not being very, you know, we're not really having much faith there, but the idea is we cannot leave it like it is for another school year.
Well, I hate, I don't agree with you very much, but I'm agreeing with you right now.
Well, I appreciate that.
If we get the light situation going during the school, it'll take care of our problem. If it is 2 or 3 years, the school, he says, not gonna be built for 10 years. So if we can take care of this problem right now with lights, then we can look at the other options to see on down the road. As I said, we can't do everything. We can't do it all.
The other part of this that we're not really talking about, and it is the reality, is the release of Lincoln. So Lincoln currently has a situation where they're using a one direction.
Yeah.
And it's one way only. And so, and I say this, my wife works there and I hear about it literally every day, how awful that is, because you've got the pickup to the early childhood, then you've got the other early child, then you've got the elementary, then you got the bus loop, and the only way they
back and look at perhaps some non-traditional types of modifications. The challenge you get into sometimes with those types of improvements to a roadway is losing driver expectancy or causing issues where people don't understand how something's working and find themselves in the middle of a collision. So we try our best with MUTCD and other types to try to standardize how roadways work. We can, but I don't mind looking at some non-traditional,
Like a diamond interchange or something, or a
well,
roundabout?
no, just within the signal.
Overpass,
No,
underpass.
I hear where you're going. You wanna get something in place through signal modification. No roadway widening is fine, although you certainly from a traditional sense, you see a capacity need here. But, those are somewhat precarious things to walk, because it solves us to worry about someone getting into a serious issue with that, and they come back on their recommendation.
It
That's
appears,
why they're often frowned upon, because, yeah, they might solve, but then they might also create some confusion, which creates a real problem. And so I tend to use more traditional concepts of roadway modeling, but we do have things like diverging diamonds and other things that we are coming more into fashion, and people are getting used to them. Roundabouts are more and more coming in.
well, right now, though, we're looking, and of course, money, but we're also looking at something before next year. The only thing before next year is the lights. If we said, yeah, let's build it, we couldn't build it for next year anyway. So if we get the lights in and see how it works, that's at least buying us some time to do our next plan, that's modifying the intersection or building another road east of there or whatever.
I think at this point, if we, and I'm gonna disagree a little bit. You know, we talk about traditional, non-traditional. White arrows on the road and red and green lights are what the drivers are looking for. If I'm sitting in front of Nina's house and I'm heading to the high school and I see a red light, I know I need to stop. If I see an arrow that tells me I can go forward or I can turn right, I'm gonna get in that turn lane.
Yeah.
We've also got the overhead signs that say directional. You know, Pryor's not full of bad drivers. We didn't engineer our intersections right from the get-go. And so this one was engineered to be for the growth at the time, the projected growth at the time. And now we look at, the new high school, the new stuff that's going in, and we realize, well, we need a change. Right now, the change that I feel would be responsible is to see what we can do with what we have before we start throwing millions of dollars into what we would love to have.
Yeah, and give them all summer to get used to it.
Because either way, on this plan, I mean, you look, who I was just talking about there on the corner of Ada, that widening starts at her lawn and goes out. So we're telling them, even though we have an easement there, we're gonna take some of your lawn that way. Advantage on the north side of the east, or the westbound is outside of the card center, that's our property. The city owns that, so that'll be a little easier. North and bound, north and south, they're not really changing because that's already in place. But again, we've got to figure out something now, and I think if we make the modifications, even if they're not perfect, if they're not ideal or perfectly engineered, if they work and they get traffic moving better, I think every one of us will get a thank you from the community.
So right now, what you need from our committee is a recommendation to council to go and do this light situation.
We'll still need the engineering to tell us, will the lights need to be completely new lights with new technology and everything?
Let me make a recommendation, okay? Let me make a recommendation, take everything we talked about here, let me get with you, and let's let him let the model tell us what an interim, I'm gonna call it an interim step, okay? And we're talking about with the lights, okay? And he can tell us real quick if the lights are gonna help it, or if it's not gonna help. He can look at the existing conditions out there and put in the parameters of the lights, and he can tell real quick, did it help or did it hurt? And then if it helps, I come back, I'll make a recommendation, we can take it to the council, we can talk to Jared, okay? And see if this can be done. consent process. I
Sounds
don't
good.
think
And
we
see,
can
in the
decide in
meantime,
this.
I go downstairs and I talk to Jared and say, hey, what can be done with those lights?
There you go, there you go. You can do that
And
too.
Dale and the engineering guys do their engineering.
Well, that sounds like a plan.
But what I wanna know is, do we have the is it probable, or are we gonna have to put in, just change the timers on them, or are we gonna have to put new technology in with new light systems?
That's what we need to talk to Jared.
That's what I gotta talk to Jared about. I don't know the answer to
Well,
it.
see, like right now, they're doing one, I asked them if they do one a month, like coming down Graham Avenue, just to make sure we have the funds to do it, but they're replacing each intersection once a month down through there until they get all the way to Elliott Street.
With new,
Yeah, with new stuff, the LED,
have they already done one intersection?
yeah, they've gone from eight deer van, and road. I think they've got Kauai, Hogan Street, and then
And that was
they
because
have
it was
those.
a time frame that they were given, wasn't it? That they had to have them all done by, or if they replace them, they have to replace them with the LED.
Yeah, certain time,
There
and
was
they,
a regulated reason why they're having to do that.
Yes.
It wasn't just because we want.
no, it was something that had to be done because of the old system, like a lot of things, you can't get parts for anymore. So with the new upgraded system, with the LED and everything else, it'd actually be cheaper because then, like I said, with LEDs, you're not running the same type of other power, the lights goes out. You can, well, I was talking, you can replace the whole system, or the lights plug in and out instead of changing one bulb. That one bulb, you know, you can probably buy 4 or 5 of the LED for that, so it'd be cheaper also for the city, because when they do maintenance and stuff on, we have to pay for that. So, but I think they've got 3 or 4 of them done, and they've got some more.
At this point, can we just, leave this where it's at and let them get together and you get with whoever?
Well, I think
Next,
yes,
next
I think
meeting?
the recommendation from you is, go ahead and let them start talking, and then let them come back with an engineer
I
discussion.
think that'd be all right.
And
Do it maybe next meeting? Can you do it that quick?
yeah, they do.
Month?
I think probably.
Okay.
You're talking about
How's that
a month from now? I think so.
I just had a question about what Zach talked about earlier, the Uniflow, northbound, you got your 45 seconds, then you go southbound, then you go east, then you go west. Is that a real thing? Those people who come up, turn left, right, or straight?
Oh, yeah.
That's something,
And I think we do that, that's something that needs to be,
That'd be
it's
quite.
not at a certain time, change it to this, you know, have it regular.
We're doing
I
it
think for everybody to learn it, we've done that,
right now.
is leave it on all the time, that way everybody gets a chance at that light, and they'll be more
We
used to
don't
it,
have fast.
instead of, you know,
Yeah, I do too. By the time
instead of
school
2
gets
P.M.,
here,
we'll
they're
change
ready.
it to this one now. I think that's what we're running into mistakes.
All 4 approaches are fairly limited, and so if we prioritize one too much, it's kind of only back up on the other. We can look at it.
Okay, then, we've had discussion on this subject, and I think the consensus is that we're gonna let Dale and, Jim get together to figure out that plan and get with Jared, and then come back to us at the next street committee meeting, the end of June. Is that agreeable to everybody?
Sounds good to me.
Okay.
Is that all of it?
No.
What you got now?
Okay. Before we move on to, item number 12, I need to take a 3-minute break. And then we'll come back and we'll talk about the drainage repairs project on Elliott between 12th and 15th Street. Do you know about that one?
That's
Is
what
that
we're
one
gonna,
entered school?
yeah, I mean, I'm not sure if I don't think he's been there, we're supposed to get together and talk about it, but I mean, I can talk about it.
We'll be back in a couple minutes.
Oh, thank you. Did you have the envelopes up there?
Yeah.
My mind just,
Sorry, I just got a lot to go.
Neither one of them says who, what, but
Gold Street, come across, you know, goes over back in there.
I'll be happy. I actually, I
repairs on South Elliott Street, 12th to 15th.
We talked, right? Well, like I said, I got with the mayor, and I know we've been, for a while now, that we've been trying to figure out something to do down through there, but we just wasn't real sure. We talked with Dale, here the other day, and I mentioned that to him, and he come up with an idea. We haven't really started anything, but we're supposed to meet with him and get down and try to figure something out because of the erosion on that ditch that goes through there. There's gotta be, as deep as those are, you know, like with the Lincoln School, what they did in front of theirs where they poured the head walls and the concrete bottom, which that's fine, but like I said, sometimes it's hard to, I guess say, to maintain them because you have to get either, like I said, dip them off the side of off on the road to clean them out. But when I was talking with Dale, he said, you know, we could put that poly pipe down through there, and then just ever so often, like in front of one of the yard or something, put a drop in. So any of the water that comes down through that, it would drop in, and then on top of it, where you could have the water, would have a little flow line where everything would do it. But where you cover that ditch all the way from 12th Street all the way to 15th Street, I think, because then from there past is where the schools put all theirs in. But that would take care of the drainage, because some of them pipes are gonna have to be replaced anywhere in there anyway. But if we done that, then that would take care of all the problems and the complaints that we have for is, well, I can't weed eat it, you know. Well, then sometimes it's washed out, so we have to go through, because the water's standing, we have to fill it back in with dirt and try to work that area down through there. And the best thing that like, even I thought that you come up with it, just cover it up, put the drainage pipe in there that would maintain all that water, and that way there you wouldn't have any ditches down through that area.
I think that's the easiest and best way to do it.
Well, then you don't have to worry about, I mean, as far as the accidents, people dropping off on the corners and the curbs and dropping down. And
Ice, whatever else.
Refresh my memory, is 12th Street north of the church, of the old Presbyterian church? And then it's
trying to think.
13th, 14th, and 15th?
I'm trying to think, there's 9th, there's 10th, 11th. Yes, whatever that church is right there, I think that's Karen Street. I think it goes around, we would be going from there down. That's that, because all them ditches they're at least that deep or more, or that side. Now from, I think 10th Street down to that one, it's not very deep, but I mean, again, you might be able to accommodate, you know, going all the way down to,
I think
10th Street.
Yeah, if you went to 10th, that'd be the end of it anyway.
Yeah, because some of their ditches down through there is about that big.
Yeah.
The only thing is, I mean, because you'd be going from smaller to open, I mean, to bigger pipe. But I mean, if you done something like that, because the bad part about it were, 10th Street was developed, the reason that holds water, because when it was developed and that was put in, was the accommodation that one day, going back south, that it was all gonna be 4-laned. Well, there was plans brought up, we was on the sheet to be done, and then by the time it come around for us to do it, we had, that's when Jack was here, we put, I think it was 700-some thousand back for 2 or 3 years to pay our part, because we had to pay so much, and the state was gonna come in 4-lane it. Well, then it went up, the price went up like $1.5 million or $2 million or something like that, and mayor at that time said, no, we're not gonna do it, we ain't got the money for it. But that's why all that holds, because that comes down, then that was all supposed to be curb and guttering with the drainage on each side.
If we do this, that'll take care of the problem, and then if they do 4-lane it, all we can do is go over it.
Correct, and
We don't have to do anything else.
yeah, as long as we got the correct size, and poly, what I understand, will be good for years and years down the
And
road.
you're talking about just doing the east side.
Correct, the east side of the road, because the west side, there's not that much problems.
Wonder why that is. East side's deep. But
Yeah,
the west side's nothing.
Yep, I don't know unless, I mean, some, I don't know, fishing hole or something, but yeah, it would just be the east side of the road, so. But anyway, I think that would alleviate a lot of the problems, because each one of them crossings, when you come to, each one of them pipes are starting to rust out anyway. And there at 15th Street, we've got some that's, every time we try to clean it out, we're just blowing holes in the pipe, so it's gonna have to be, that intersection is gonna have to be dug out and replaced anyway, so before we spend all that money on concrete and pipe, if we're gonna do that, let's just hold off a little bit longer and see what this here would cost, and then have contractor come in and lay the pipe, and that way there, everybody's yard would be smooth, and then you ain't gotta worry about people, mowing, blowing stuff off in the ditch and
Yeah.
things like that, so.
So the school goes down to right here.
Yes.
They're there, just right at their property line. So you'd be looking at, you know, like this section 1 year, that section a year. Right?
Yeah, if we, if it comes down to it, yeah, we can do that, but start there on, 15th Street, cause that's your deepest ditches down
Yeah.
through there. Yeah, if we just done one block, and then the next year go ahead and, have the same thing, do another block, and then
And
another
12th
block.
Street's the one on the north side of that church complex.
Yes, correct.
Okay.
Where the kids have been playing ball right there, yeah.
Yeah, school, or the church is right here.
Okay, so. So what do you need from,
Just
What is-
give him permission to go ahead and, I guess, water hydraulic testing if it has to be done, or, trying to figure out what size pipe, what's gonna cost to, which I think it'd be cheaper anyway. I think, like Dale said this here, it would probably actually cheaper instead of pouring concrete with head walls in through there, which you're still gonna have an open ditch. You wouldn't have the washouts like we do, but you're still having an open ditch. And then you're gonna have to have people that mows up to it, you're still gonna have weed eating to do. So if we done it this way, there really shouldn't be any weed eating at all, because it's gonna come right back to the road, and everything should be able to be mowed with a mower,
Yeah.
and,
I think people,
It'll be a lot easier for those that don't wanna mow the ditch right now.
you know.
yeah, exactly.
which side of the street, east or west, are we talking about there in that particular situation that you just brought up?
The,
East side of Elliott, you know about?
I don't know, that's what I'm asking, I don't know which one.
Yeah, it's east side.
Yeah, it'd be the east side.
No, the mayor knows what I'm talking about.
Oh,
that right there. It's this side.
Between which street and what street?
that'd be 15th and 14th.
Yeah. Yeah, I believe it's that one, 15.
Okay. It's that house on the corner?
Yep.
Okay.
Okay. Cause see right there by 15th Street, cause see right there, that's where that sidewalk comes through, which that's their property out through there. We have an easement for that, but then nobody wants to weed eat or mow that down, so, but that would alleviate part of the problem as far as the ditches and stuff, not wanting to do anything to.
Okay. So, you got that on your,
I got it on the list.
okay, does anybody have anything else, Mayor? Dale?
No.
Buddy?
I think I'm good.
No, good.
Okay. Then, no unforeseeable business? Motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second? Aye.
All right.
We're adjourned.
Yeah, just put them in there.
Oh, you want your pen back?
Mayor, could you issue him?
Thanks, sir.
Yeah, I'll second. Mayor?
Well, I think you've done all right.
Yeah. I don't have